Forgot my glasses. Let me get my glasses, girl. Closer than just friends, bitch. I love it. It looks-
Not feeling the grays but don't want to color? Try Just for Men Control GX Spray Reducing Shampoo. Just shampoo like you do to gradually reduce grays. Now boosted with keratin. Hair looks 2 times thicker to keep you looking your best. Control GX Shampoo. I'm here with Chris Cunahan of Leaf Filter. What is the problem with the clogged gutter? Rotten fascia, rotten soffit, mildew, mold in the attic. So how can Leaf Filter fix this problem? So the first thing we're going to do is professionally clean out all your gutters, realign them, install our Leaf Filter system that allows nothing but water. Just give us a call, set up an appointment. We'll come out, give you a free gutter inspection. To schedule your free inspection, call 833 Leaf Filter or visit leaffilter.com.
You just need more space. I feel like I'm suffocating. Oh no. Is this the episode with the breakdown? How do we find the one? Okay, let's simmer down then. You'll need Realtor.com, the app the pros trust most. With over 500,000 new listings every month, you could find the one today. This could be it. Better put a key ring on it.
You can say that again.
You better put a key ring on it. Make it reach with Realtor.com.
There are days I feel stuck in my head. Even on an antidepressant, lingering depression symptoms can make it hard to break through. I wanted more from my antidepressant. I asked about Vraylar. Adding Vraylar to an antidepressant significantly reduces overall depression.
Girl, what is wrong with him?
Vraylar isn't approved for elderly patients with dementia-related psychosis due to increased risk of death or stroke. Report changes in behavior or suicidal thoughts to your doctor. Antidepressants.
Girl, this man said, hey there. I'm done.
Report fever, stiff muscles, or confusion, which may be life-threatening, or uncontrolled muscle movements, which may be permanent. High blood sugar, which can lead to death. Weight gain and high cholesterol may occur. Difficulty moving, tremors, slow or uncontrolled body movements, restlessness and feeling like you need to move, nausea, constipation, insomnia, dizziness, increased appetite, and fatigue are common. Side effects may not appear for weeks.
Vraylar. Breaking through to relief. Ask about Vraylar.
This crispy chicken is from a taco place. This crispy chicken is from a taco place? The taco place? Taco place. Comes in a burrito too?
Every taco place, it's also a chicken place that's also a taco place.
On a distant world, you faced the enemy. And all the while, you were vacuuming. Oh, there's more. With USPS Ground Advantage, it's like you're with us every step of the way. Right on time. Stay in the know from your dock to their door.
Laura Coates Live, next on CNN.
Closed captioning brought to you by Rue La La. Iconic brands up to 70% off retail at RueLaLa.com.
At Rue La La. You never pay full price. Seize the deals on top names before they're gone. Shop Vidya.com today.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Good evening, I'm Laura Coates. We begin with the breaking news. On the sixth day of fighting between Israel and Iran, this is the crucial question tonight. Will the U.S. strike Iran directly? Sources tell CNN that President Trump is increasingly warming up to that idea, specifically whether to hit Iranian nuclear facilities in an attempt to prevent Iran from building a nuclear weapon. It's a decision with significant consequences for his presidency and, frankly, for the entire world. Now, here is what we know. Trump met with his national security team in the Situation Room this very afternoon. It lasted more than an hour. Sources say that he spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu before that meeting. Take a look at Trump's social media posts. He said, quote, "We now have complete and total control of the skies over Iran." And the key word, we. He threatened Iran's supreme leader, saying he knows where he's hiding, but he won't be killed for now. And he wrote unconditional surrender, all caps.
Closed captioning brought to you by Rue La La. Iconic
Bitch.
It's like a shift in the other direction. And tonight, the New York Times is reporting that Iran is preparing to retaliate if the United States joins the conflict. Now, U.S. officials tell the Times that Iran could strike U.S. bases in the Middle East. Israel is waiting to see whether the U.S. will actually help. And this is why it wants America to get involved. Iran's secretive Fordo fuel enrichment plant. It's buried deep inside of a mountain about 295 feet underground. Israel does not have the weapons needed to damage it. The U.S. does.
Girl, but the U.S. does.
And they can penetrate far into the earth. But there's no guarantee they would actually destroy the plant. I want to bring in Mark Caputo, senior politics reporter for Axios, who covers Trump. Mark, what are you hearing about how President Trump is even contemplating this enormous decision tonight?
He's certainly contemplating it, and the amount of interest that Trump has in launching a strike against Iran seems to have increased. In an unofficial, non-scientific survey that I kind of conducted through the day with various administration officials, I'd say about half thought that a strike is more likely than unlikely, but the percentages vary. Other ones thought not. They did seem to believe, a majority of them, that the longer this goes on with the U.S. not striking Iran, the less likely it becomes. But the reality is, this is the Donald Trump administration. It revolves around him. He's the decider, and he makes snap decisions, and he makes them quickly. Right now, he hasn't made the decision, and everyone's just bracing for when that happens. Just what that looks like, no one really has a clue.
Senator Lindsey Graham, who you know is very much pro-attacking Iran, says that he believes the president has to act soon. You mentioned that he's at his own pace. Does the administration have the same level of urgency as others who are supportive of attacking Iran, or is his timeline different for a different reason?
Donald Trump responds to his own timeline. He creates his own weather patterns. It's a date ending in Y when Lindsey Graham wants to bomb Iran, so there's nothing sort of unique about that. There are other advocates, pro-Israel, anti-Iran advocates, who think that he should move more quickly. But Donald Trump still is holding out for a deal. There are a number of people who still think, and I do think that this feeling is fading a bit, that the strikes on Iran by Israel did increase the likelihood of a deal happening. But again, I think some of that sense is fading because the reality is Iran, like any country, is not happy at being attacked and is striking back.
Netanyahu, as you know, has been calling for Iranians to stand up for their freedom, his phrasing, but essentially advocating for what appears to be a total regime change. Has President Trump warmed to that idea?
I can't answer that question. What I can say is the last time I spoke to a senior administration official about this, yesterday, there was a feeling that Netanyahu and Israel want regime change more than the administration. And Donald Trump did talk or did ask or did tell the Israelis not to take out the Ayatollah in Iran. And I think the phrase that they used was, when I asked, well, why not take out the Ayatollah in Trump's eyes, they said it's better to have the Ayatollah you know than the Ayatollah you don't know. But as you referenced earlier, Donald Trump was starting to tell or telegraph on Truth Social that they know where the Ayatollah is, and suggesting that the United States could decide to go along with this idea of taking him out, assassinating him, dropping a bomb, or whatever the phrase is. But so far that decision hasn't been made. So far Donald Trump still wants to make a deal. But it's an open question about whether Netanyahu really wants to, and whether Netanyahu is just sort of completely off the chain and going to do what he wants to do.
There's a big divergence of opinions as well on what Trump should do among MAGA supporters, like influencers. And listen to a bit of this Tucker Carlson, Senator Ted Cruz combo.
You don't know anything about the country. I didn't say I don't know anything about it. What's the ethnic mix of Iran?
Knock, knock. Dave,
They are Persians,
we're
predominantly Shia. Okay, you don't know anything about Iran. So, okay, I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran. You're a senator who's calling it the overthrow of the government. You're the one who knows anything about the country.
I mean, this is a pretty intense debate and quite a moment to see play out. Is their intensity matching what's happening inside, say, the White House?
I don't think to that degree. I mean, there are some voices who are, well, less hawkish. Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, is chief among them. J.D. Vance has also been a little less hawkish. But the reality is, in order to get in the White House, to become a secretary, to become part of the administration of Donald Trump, is to always follow his lead, even when his lead changes. So when Donald Trump decides to move ahead with this, you're going to hear all of the secretaries support it, at least in the short term, at least as it's sort of been sketched out to be so far. But there's not a very clear sign of what that sketch looks like.
Mark Caputo, a lot of unanswered questions around the world tonight,
Yes.
waiting to see what's going to happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
With me now, CNN military analyst, retired Air Force Colonel Cedric Layton, international affairs analyst Bobby Ghosh, and director of policy and research for the SUFEN Group, Colin Clark. Thank you all. Colin, let me begin with you. There are a lot of signs that indicate that Trump is certainly leaning towards some sort of action, but no final decision has actually been made. What would that action look like, and would it actually be inevitable that the U.S. might take action against Iran?
Well, thanks for having me. If the U.S. does get involved with delivering the bunker busters at Fordow, at that point it's in for a penny, in for a pound. The U.S. essentially signs off on the Israeli campaign. What the end game there is still unclear, but it's likely co-signing on regime change. And if you can think of an example where that's worked in the last 20 years, I'd love to hear it, because I certainly haven't seen it. It would be committing the United States to, essentially whatever Israel's going to do under Netanyahu. It also opens the United States up to retaliation from the Iranians.
As they've indicated as much, particularly on U.S. bases in the Middle East, former intelligence briefer for President Trump during his first term, Beth Sanner, Colonel Layton, had this to say: if the U.S. were to intervene, this is.
Once you set these things in motion, no one is going to be in control of it, and there will be no ability to control it. And so thinking these things through at this point and not acting precipitously with the American role, I think is very important at this stage. I would let the Israelis see what they can do first.
Colonel Layton, can Israeli forces go at it alone?
Well, they can do certain things, Laura, but as far as actually destroying Iran's nuclear capability, the answer is no. They can't do that by themselves. They would need the bunker buster bombs that we've talked about, really massive coordinates penetrator, the GBU-57. That would be the kind of weapon that would be needed to go after a place like Fordow. It's not just Fordow. There are more than a dozen other sites that the Iranians have that concern themselves with not only uranium enrichment, but storage of nuclear materials. They have all kinds of different aspects to their program, which has been built up over really several decades right now. So This is definitely something where they couldn't do it alone. They would need help to do it, and that's, I think, why they're asking for it.
Well, Bobby, let me turn to you on this because President Trump very publicly suggested that he could, if he wanted to, assassinate Iran's supreme leader, but said that he would not. Is that just bluster, or might there be some real calculation happening behind the scenes?
Well, when it comes from President Trump, it tends to be bluster, but there have been certainly suggestions from many folks in Israel that that is something that might be contemplated. And, you know, there is always a risk when you decapitate a state that you can't really predict what comes next. And the examples that we've seen in the neighborhood of Iran, so Iraq is a very good example, do not give us a lot of room for optimism that the next guy in charge is necessarily going to be more amenable to some sort of a peace deal. There's just as much likelihood that something more radical, more militant might take the place of the existing regime. So you set aside what Trump says and pay closer attention to what the Israelis are saying, because to take out the leader of the Islamic Republic, you would need Israeli intelligence and Israeli operations to put that together. I'm sure that is a scenario that the Israelis have contemplated, but the fact that they haven't executed on it yet suggests that they're not 100% sure about the sense of doing it that way.
Colonel Layton, I mean, the New York Times is reporting that Iran is preparing to strike U.S. bases in the Middle East should the U.S. join Israel's war against Iran. Can you tell me how vulnerable these U.S. installations might really be?
Well, it depends on the installation, but some of them are definitely within the cross.
I don't even know what he's at.
cool stuff here for you. What can I get you? Take your time. You own the place after all. I'll be here if you need anything. All right, let's talk.
I don't know what he's doing. I really don't. So what are we doing? I'm done.
Hey, Shelley. You would not believe how many celebrities live here. Totally. I got one of those maps with stars. So what is he doing?
you reach those shady sons of bitches, torch everything. Don't leave a single bill unsinged. Good work. Nothing sends a clear message like incendiaries.
Fear of persecution is gone. And if you don't give people clear due process, why would you expect them to show up for their court hearings in the future? We will all be worse off if we let them undermine the rule of law.
I understand that you are not now facing charges, but you are under investigation based on this detainment.
That's right.
Are you concerned that you might be indicted?
Well, look, so they did not bring charges today, and the case is under review. But I'm much more concerned for Edgardo, who tonight is in ICE detention in who knows where, who has no lawyer,
Because he never came
who has no due process. The person that they separated from me, yeah, they took him. He doesn't have a lawyer. He doesn't have any due process rights. We have no idea what state he's in, and that's happening to thousands of people. So I am far more concerned about Zev and about Edgardo and the other people that we're talking about.
You know, the current Mayor Eric Adams, who is running for re-election, tonight suggested that your actions are contributing to a climate of fear in this town. Listen to what he had to say.
One of the things that I see is happening is that we're raising the noise. If all of us were saying the same thing, go to school. ICE is not in our schools. Our children should be going to school. ICE is not raiding our houses of worship. They're not raiding our hospitals. And when we're adding to the energy that everything is chaotic, everything is terrible, people start to feel that. And I'm telling people, don't live in fear.
What's your reaction to that?
I mean, Eric Adams is a shameful Donald Trump collaborator in order to save his own skin for his crime. Deal with Trump, not to defend New York's immigrants. So all I did today was try to peacefully accompany a New Yorker to make sure that his due process rights were protected. And that, I think, is what is expected of all of us right now. It's got to be nonviolent. Of course, it's got to be peaceful. We do not want to give Trump any excuse to do what he did in L.A., send in the National Guard. But if Eric Adams is saying we ought to just let them strip away people's due process rights, not honor their opportunity to seek asylum, and let ICE agents wantonly and randomly detain them, he is bringing shame to the city that's got the Statue of Liberty in its harbor. And that's why he's going to lose his re-election effort. New York wants a mayor who will stand up and protect. 40% of New Yorkers are immigrants.
This is obviously we're walking something out. It's case by case. What is the larger strategic plan the Democrats have to confront this issue?
Well, look, what we could be doing right now, if we had a mayor who actually cared about protecting immigrant New Yorkers, was say in our schools, have the parent coordinators say, hey, can we connect you to a lawyer so you get legal advice to figure out, when your hearing is, what should you bring? Should you go with your family? But we're not providing that in our schools or in our public hospitals or libraries or shelters because Eric Adams made a deal with Donald Trump. So yes, what Democrats should be doing is leading cities by saying, we're going to make sure we honor due process and provide resources for legal representation or at least pro se advice. That's like the model of what I was doing today, but I'd like to do it a lot.
Amanda, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ahead, could U.S. involvement in Iran put a dent in the MAGA movement? That's what one Trump-friendly pollster is telling the president. Plus, how Vice President J.D. Vance is trying to do some damage control. We'll discuss next.
To understand the world, we need to know the truth.
We witnessed something today that nobody alive has ever seen before.
It's why we follow the facts. Wherever they lead, no matter how far we have to go. I just got off the phone with President Trump, and I asked him the question everybody wants to know the answer to. Every day, we witness the world.
Well, with the American military right now looking for any signs of cartel activity.
Following what matters to you.
Choose Advil Liquid Gels for faster, stronger, and longer-lasting relief than Tylenol Rapid Release Gel. Because Advil targets pain at the source of inflammation. So for faster pain relief, Advil, the pain away.
We were the first music publisher pioneering music rights and music publishing rights in the Middle East.
Be more passionate about the mission of Paparazia.
The company is built by artists for artists.
We've had the opportunity to bring some of the best songwriters and producers around the world to come to Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi is a great place to grow a business. It's exciting.
I'm the president of After School All Stars. Through innovative and enriching programs, we're helping students succeed in and out of the classroom. But more kids than ever are struggling with anxiety and depression. Economic hardships, kids falling behind in school, and the overuse of devices are all contributing factors. We must work together to empower parents to keep their kids happy and safe. Youth mental health is a difficult challenge. It requires a comprehensive solution. Angola is a hidden gem, full of potential. We look forward to welcoming you back, time and time again, now and in the future. Angola awaits.
Chevy Equinox is more than an SUV. It's your tour guide and your boxing ring. It's your dugout and your safety check. It's your bedtime. Your big time. And your makeout booth, too. It's more than an SUV. It's your Equinox. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Have you always had trouble with your weight? Me too.
Discover the power of Wegovy. With Wegovy, I lost 35 pounds. And some lost over 46 pounds.
And I keep the weight off.
Reducing my risk. Wegovy is the only independent treatment proven to reduce risk of major cardiovascular events such as death, heart attack, or stroke in adults with heart disease and obesity.
Don't use Wegovy with semaglutide or GLP-1 medicines or in children under 12. Don't take if you or your family had MTC, MEN2, or if allergic to it. Tell your provider if you plan to have surgery or a procedure, are breastfeeding, pregnant, or planning to. Stop taking and get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or any of these allergic reactions. Serious side effects may include pancreas inflammation and gallbladder or severe stomach problems. Call your prescriber if you have any of these symptoms. Wegovy may cause low blood sugar in people with diabetes, especially if you take medicines to treat diabetes. Call your prescriber about vision changes, if you feel your heart racing while at rest, or if you have mental changes. Depression or thoughts of suicide may occur. Common side effects include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, stomach pain, flu or upset, headache, feeling tired, dizzy or bloated, gas, and heartburn. Some side effects lead to dehydration, which may cause kidney problems.
With Wegovy,
I'm losing weight,
I'm keeping it on.
and I'm lowering my CV risk.
Ask your prescriber about Wegovy.
At Avis, we rent cars. Unlike anyone else rents cars. Because for 75 years, we've only had one plan. To make sure you keep yours.
Billionaire Boys Club premieres Sunday, July 13th on CNN.
As President Trump weighs a decision on whether to use military assets in Iran, he's receiving a ton of blowback from high-profile members of his own party, who are accusing the president of abandoning the America First principles that he ran on. So just how big of a problem could this be for him politically? Well, our chief data analyst, Harry Enton, looked into all of this for us. Harry?
Hey, Laura. President Donald Trump and the United States government are going to have to make some big decisions with concern to Iran. But I think it's important to note that the Republican base of now versus yesteryear is considerably more dovish. It's considerably more dovish. What am I talking about here? Well, let's take a look at this question. Limit the risk of Iran making nuclear arms. This is among Republicans and what they prefer. You can see only about a quarter prefer military action to actually limit the risk of Iran making nuclear arms. But what takes the cake? Well, you see here, 2/3 of Republicans say a negotiated agreement. 64% of Republicans prefer this option to limit the risk of Iran making nuclear arms. Now, of course, Donald Trump has argued.
I'm sending you the location of a bunch of assholes who thought I wouldn't notice a payment of counterfeit cash in lieu of dirty money we were owed. You know what I told them? You're fired. Give that one a minute, you'll come around. When you reach those shady sons of bitches, torch everything. Don't leave a single bill unsinged.
Is there a problem here?
a truckload of fake cash on the road. You know what that means? Go set it alight. Good work. Nothing sensitive.
Did you find out about the reservation? I don't care what it costs. I have to impress her. Okay. Hey, see me at the club.
I have no idea where this boy is taking me.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! Get in! Quickly! You good? You ready? All right. Come on, driver. Let's go.
Si, si.
Okay, so this opportunity, it's big, my friend. This guy, his name is Faber. He's a banker, the banker. Every dollar in this fucking town, it goes through him. He's my guy. He's El Rubio's guy. Anybody who's in charge of anybody, their guy. And here he is now. And he asked for you personally. I'm surprised it took so long. Now listen, just let me do the talking, okay? Your style of conversation, it's so, well, you know.
Ciao! I'm only here for 24 hours. If they're serious about this, they'll show me the property. How many buyers can they have in a state that pays 80% tax?
By the way, don't mention his fucking shoes. Okay. Knock, knock.
Ah, Martin.
Here he is. Hello, how are you, Mr. Faber?
I am well. Patricia, Miguel, they are?
Oh, fine, fine.
Ah, I've heard your name from a number of my clients. You've made some of them a lot of money, directly and indirectly. To others, you're just, well, a blot on their accounts. Martin has told you about me? Well, fundamentally, I offer financial services. It's all very technical. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Most financiers help their clients to minimize tax. I help mine pay just enough to keep the accountants away. Very important if you wish to enjoy all this.
Exactly.
A financial network such as mine requires a number of businesses who are willing to collaborate. I am offering you an opportunity to be such a partner. My people, your people, it will be mutually beneficial. Mr. DeAngelis here has compiled a portfolio of suitable possibilities, just small to begin with.
Yes, there are a couple we could start with.
I think perhaps the details can wait until I am out of earshot. Raf is one of my most trusted consultants. He will ensure that everything is running smoothly.
About mortality.
Yes, that boy is blowing his back out.
It's corny to say, but it's about love. It's anything worth living for.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's it?
That's it.
Hey, gentlemen, come on.
Okay.
Let's go.
Great. All right, then. Thank you for your time, Mr. Faber.
Of course. Goodbye, Raf.
Watch your step, kid. Gracias, gracias. You know, Ralph, you should meet my son, Miguel. He could show you around.
We already met. Bahamas 2 years ago.
Dale.
Yes, sir.
So, businesses you want invested. These are legitimate enterprises, low profile, cash intensive. I found hands-on a car wash in Strawberry. You want to start there. Meanwhile, I'll run some background checks on a couple of others, potentially very lucrative if you decide to purchase them. Just run them, show them some love, you know? Just keep that cash flow moving. We need a steady, legit revenue stream. Then, I get a tap on the shoulder from Mr. Faber, we mix in some cash assets off the books, and...
money laundering.
You say it how it is, Mr. Matrazzo. I respect that. I do. Old school. Boom.
Anyway, if you choose to go forward, I'll fix what needs to be fixed. You get what I'm saying? I'll take care of the books, you take care of the problems. Mr. Faber says he wants you to be the boss, so hey, you're the boss.
You got that? Okay. Looks like we're here.
Yep. Beautiful.
Hey, just one more thing, you know, between us girls. You mentioned my boss's name to anybody? Anybody? We both end up like his last guy in LS. Dead. Obviously.
Think it over, huh?
To be young and scared. Good luck. Vámonos.
Yes, sir.
Well, this is it. Your humble car wash. Dirty money comes in, clean money comes out. Now, obviously, we should wash the occasional car, you know? We need a little clean money to balance the books, but more importantly, we need a lot of dirty money. Just boot up this laptop to see what jobs we got waiting. Also, if you want to be in Mr. Favor's good graces, you want to solve problems in the network before he even knows about them. Work with his big clients, keep things running smooth. But listen, I know you're very busy, very important, so if it's something small, you can just call me, all right? That's safe side catching, huh? You want some liquidity? It's right here for you.
Hey!
Listen, zero pressure and no expectations, but, Hagen's Helitors, though, huh? You thinking about it?
Ah, yeah, so I need you to head to that court to take out a security team and steal a stockade. No sweat, right? Okay, boss, here's the deal. Another laundering outfit's been running a pretty successful pipeline through Los Santos, and let me tell you, their money is squeaky clean. So we gotta reestablish the natural order here, and that's us on top. We're taking their cash. You just need to convincing this guys. And yes, you're gonna have to take out a bunch of security guys, but, sucks to be them.
You aren't supposed to be down here?
Can you see the banks and the stockades GPS? That's where you gotta go pick up. Just keep it low-key, get in and out. Cash in hand, baby, that's how we roll. You'll be laughing all the way from the banks. I'm really sorry, that wasn't my best. We've got a problem. Merryweather cleaned out your bunker. They're loading your arms into a chopper and they're about to get out of Dutch.
Hello. My bad. I'm game. Girl, right in my face. Bro, I gotta pee.
What's wrong with you, big girl?
number of times over the last couple of days from our military analysts. Wars are very easy to start, they're tough to end. And so as the calculations are being made as to if and when and what it looks like in terms of U.S. involvement, how much will that need to be a part of the discussion and perhaps laid out for Israel, that if the U.S. does decide to go in to perhaps help attack, that these are the boundaries to it, these are the parameters?
It's not only parameters of what the United States is willing to do. I think there's a lot of sensitivity, and rightful so, and concern about what would happen after the fact. So it's easy to plan. What happens if there is an attack? What happens if there is massive regime turnover or collapse altogether? What role would the United States have to play? What role would Israel have to play? Would the international community have a role in this? What is the day after going to look like? And what we've seen are folks pointing repeatedly to lessons learned from the Iraq experience in 2003. And also, there's a history of foreign countries meddling in Iranian domestic affairs and regime change or leadership change going all the way back to the 50s. So there is rightful concern really over what the next stages would be, because the assumption is that if the U.S. does get involved, it will get involved in I mean permanently or substantially cripple Iran's nuclear program and possibly lead to a regime turnover.
Right, and part of that discussion, has been, and rightfully so, to get the Iranians what that looks like the next day. But the reality is that's one part of the puzzle only. We also have, as all of this is playing out, to your point, we're also coming off, of course, President Trump's first major overseas trip was to the region. He made that very important speech in Saudi Arabia talking about the fact that, I'm paraphrasing here, but essentially the U.S. was getting out of the business of nation building, right? And of helping to usher in a change, which would be exactly what could potentially be happening in Iran.
Yeah, and the question is that with U.S. support for supporting Israel in this operation, would it be consistent with Trump's message that the U.S. is not engaged in nation building? It might make the argument that, if anything, the pathway to a prosperous, safe, secure Middle East is really blocked by Iran and its target actions from the U.S. perspective. They support the various projects of the Middle East, stabilizing the region. So U.S. involvement in the Middle East, but basic behaviors of the regime is consistent with the president's view that the United States should not be involved in nation building, but it should assist with removing obstacles towards a pathway for a prosperous and secure Middle East, and that this is one step in that direction.
Where else are you looking at this moment in the region? What else are you monitoring to give you a sense of where support lies and what things could look like?
Well, the big question is also, beyond just what's happening domestically. We've seen other Arab states, other states in the region, Arab states in particular, they've been vocal in condemning Israel's operation. Yet we haven't seen any big diplomatic interaction to this. What is the problem with U.S. involvement that might trigger an Iranian response at U.S. bases and positions in neighboring countries, Iraq, about UAE, other places where the U.S. has military installations? Would there be a tolerance for that if the United States got involved directly and soldiers in those countries and also troops for those countries themselves were at risk? We've really yet to hear what that is, and I think for now all remains quiet until President Trump reaches his decision.
Yeah, President waits and weighs on that decision. Thank you, I appreciate you joining us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Iran's supreme leader is dying to show Israel no mercy in response to its attacks. Some analysts, though, say that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has never been more vulnerable than he is in this moment. A closer look at why on this quick break.
Road rage volunteer man, the four boys who make a lot of dirty clothes. Hide the rest lifting those heavy detergent containers and the big mess they make. Well, check out my latest life hack. Happy Hour laundry sheets. They're lightweight, compact, and mess-free. Just pull it out and drop it in. No more pouring or measuring. All you need is one sheet for the entire load. To save up this whole cup of detergent. The secret is a powerful cleaning formulation embedded in the fibers. The whole sheet quickly dissolves in water. Watch this. I'll put a sheet in. It works in hot or cold water. See how fast it dissolves? Look at this stain. There's no wasting time with pre-treaters because Happy Hour has a built-in stain remover that breaks up stains fast. The formula has a color protector. Plus, it's hypoallergenic and perfect for sensitive skin. And it's eco-friendly, so plastic containers like this won't end up in landfills. But it's still a powerful stain fighter and works in all types of washing machines. This shirt was stained with cherry juice. I'll place one sheet on top and add water. In just seconds, the stain is gone. Check out what people said outside a grocery store.
These are so heavy to lug around. I would love light sheets like these.
Thanks, boss. 60 loads, and it could change my brain.
That's crazy. Your laundry just got a lot easier. Where can I get some of these?
It's time to lighten the load so you can start Happy Hour sooner. Call or go online now to get Happy Hour laundry sheets. Enough for 120 loads for just $14.99 with free shipping. That's right. Call now or go to our website and get a full month of Happy Hour for 50% off our regular price. Happy Hour ships right from the USA. And I guarantee Happy Hour laundry sheets will make laundry days easier or you'll get your money back. Call or go online to get yours today.
Call 1-800-960-9570 or go online to buyhappyhour.com. So call 1-800-960-9570 or go to buyhappyhour.com.
How much is on me today? Awesome. Why? I have some extra cash right now. I started using Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. Wait, are you saying you get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app? Yes, I get real cash back every time I get gas. Does that actually add up to anything? I'll make around $200 to $300. Wow, that's serious extra cash. Right? You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? It's like free money. I'm downloading the free Upside app now. Use this promo code and get an extra 25 cents a gallon cash bonus on your first payment. Thanks.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gets you cash back every time you get gas.
We did it, Joe. We did it.
Ready buying. Download the free Upside app now. Earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code REPAIR25 for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank.
Did you download the Upside app yet? Yes, of course. I'm not passing out free money. I'm earning real cash back now every time I get gas.
Just download the free Upside app and use promo code REPAIR25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. If you drive, you need Upside. Earn cash back on every gallon of gas you buy. Plus, you can cash out anytime right your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. So whether you're driving around town a couple times a week or driving hundreds of miles every day, Upside is for you. Don't wait. Some Upside users are making as much as $200 to $300. Download the free Upside app and use promo code REPAIR25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code REPAIR25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. Crazy is about to happen. On the runway. Insurance plan covers up to 90% of eligible vet bills. Get a plan by Gracie's at Without Care. VCRs are extinct, film reels are fading, and old photos are cracked. Old formats won't last, but Legacy Box saves them. Easily digitized, easy to stream, and ready to share. Join the millions of families who have trusted Legacy Box today.
In Nairobi, Kenya, and this is the end. Oil prices are up once again. World watches to see whether the conflict between Israel and Iran will disrupt supplies. The price of crude has been fluctuating this week, and traders keeping a close eye on the situation. There are concerns Iran may retaliate by cutting off traffic in the Strait of Hormuz or by targeting energy infrastructure in the region. Meantime, Israel says it does not expect fuel shortages after Iran struck an oil refinery in Haifa. Its energy ministry says preparations have been made to secure enough fuel at the Strait on Monday. As the conflict has quickly intensified, much of the focus is also shifting to the fate of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. He has warned that Iran will show no mercy in this battle. Whether he can follow through on that promise, however, and whether the Iranian people stand with him, those are open questions, as CNN's Melissa Bell reports.
For over 35 years,
Iran's supreme leader, Ali Hosseini Khamenei, is waiting for the final word, delivering a bold message to the West.
Each time we, in no way, are willing to start an all-out war with the United States. But if it so happens, it will inevitably put up a very strong defense.
5 days into an all-out conflict with Israel, the question now is how fragile Khamenei's grip remains. Regional proxies like Hezbollah and Bashar al-Assad's Syrian regime are on the sidelines, leaving Iran to fight back alone.
It's led by an 85-year-old supreme leader who doesn't really have the physical or cognitive acumen to be fighting this very high-tech war. So, this is, as other guests have said, probably the most vulnerable the Iranian regime has been in many, many years.
It was the 1989 death of Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, the father of Iran's Islamic Revolution, that brought Khamenei to power. Since then, he's brutally suppressed internal dissent. First in 2009, when the Green Movement protested what it claimed were rigged election results.
If they don't stop this, then the consequences, the writing, everything, they will be held accountable for all this.
Oops.
Then again, in 2022, the death in police custody of a young Kurdish Iranian woman, Mahsa Amini, sparked months of nationwide protests, met once again with violent repression. Israeli attacks have now eliminated several key regime figures, targeting not only nuclear facilities, but also Iran's state broadcaster. Israel's prime minister has even addressed what he believes would happen if Khamenei himself were targeted.
It's not going to escalate the conflict, it's going to end the conflict.
For now, an American opposition appears to be holding back Israel's plan to strike Khamenei directly, but the supreme leader has vowed to fight on.
We must give a strong response. God willing, we will respond with strength and we will show them no mercy.
The question now, whether Iranians themselves will stand with the leader they so often oppose. Melissa Balsiana, Paris.
As missile strikes loom overhead in northern Israel, the challenging birth of 3 babies is taking place in an underground hospital. CNS Glad has that story.
A woman gave birth to triplets Monday in Israel's Rambam hospital, one of several in the country that moved some operations underground as Iranian strikes hit city Haifa this week, according to Reuters.
The challenging time now is to see triplets during the transition here. During time of war, it's just more challenging to manage this case.
Iranian missiles targeted Haifa, Israel's third largest city, and where Rambam hospital is located. Representatives of the hospital said they were treating roughly 600 patients around the time the triplets were born.
He had the nurse. He's happy these are their first babies.
Electric on me today. Awesome. Why?
Why?
I have some extra cash right now. I started using Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. Wait, are you saying you get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app? Yeah,
I get real cash back every time I get gas. Does that actually add up to anything? I'll make around $200 to $300. Wow. Serious extra cash. Right? You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? It's like free money. I'm downloading the free Upside app now. Use this promo code and get an extra 25 cents a gallon.
You have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right, you can earn real cash back with Upside just for buying the gas you're already buying. Download the free Upside app now. Earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code REPAIR25 for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank.
Did you download the Upside app yet? Yes, of course. I'm not passing out free money. I'm earning real cash back now every time I get gas.
Just download the free Upside app and use promo code REPAIR25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. If you drive, you need Upside. Earn cash back on every gallon of gas you buy. Plus, you can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. So, whether you're driving around town a couple times a week or driving hundreds of miles every day, Upside is for you. Don't wait. Some Upside users are making as much as $200 to $300. Download the free Upside app and use promo code REPAIR25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code REPAIR25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
If you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault and you don't have an attorney, don't go it alone. We have legal professionals standing by to let you know what your case is potentially worth. Hi, I'm Paula Haddock, here with spokesman Rob Wolf. So, Rob, please tell the viewers at home who should be calling in right now.
Well, Paul, it's just like you said. Anyone who's been injured in an accident, it was not your fault. You do not have an attorney. Give us a call right now. We have legal professionals standing by ready to answer all of your questions and let you know what your case is potentially worth.
So what kind of calls are coming in so far?
Well, Paula, we're seeing calls from all types of accidents today. Look at this great group of people behind us. They're here to answer your questions and help you today. So I want to remind all the viewers at home, if you've been injured in an accident, it was not your fault, or if you've received a low offer from the insurance company, give us a call right now, and we'll let you know what your case is really worth.
Thanks so much, Rob. So take action. Call now and find out what your case is really worth. When Lila was ready to sell her ring, she sent it to Worthy, where they took care of everything and auctioned it on her terms. Then Worthy sent Lila her money. You're worthy of more. Get started at worthy.com. Precise designs, subtle curves, curated upgrades, elevated design for thoughtful living. Puma.
I'm Mark Stewart in Beijing, and this is CNN.
What does it mean to be out front? It's going there. We are just about 3 miles from the Gaza border. It's finding out something unexpected. I relish all of our conversations. It's context. The economy is by far the top issue for Americans in this election. Curiosity. Someone else need to jump in the race. And above all, it's about sharing that so you fired about 10 ballistic missiles toward Israel overnight. Iran says one guided missile hit an Israeli military intelligence center in Tel Aviv. Other Iranian strikes managed to breach the Iron Dome and did cause some damage to residential buildings. A number of fires broke out. No casualties, though, have been reported. As for potential American involvement, that is the big question at this hour. One senior Israeli official says they're just waiting to see. Meantime, sources telling CNN President Trump is warming to the idea of using U.S. military assets to strike Iran's nuclear facilities and souring a of a diplomatic solution. The fifth rig is yet to call impacts with power development for us. The collaboration between. Well, Erica, we're having some updates from the Israeli military as to exactly what they have been targeting overnight, as you mentioned there. The military saying that they will not to be in any danger. We are still continuing to see people leaving Tehran, trying to get to more rural, more isolated areas. Overnight, we understand from the Israeli military that they carried out, using 50 fighter jets, they say, specific intelligence-based strikes. This is how they've termed it. Now, what they were targeting is the centrifuge production facilities. These are the centrifuges which are needed for creating nuclear power, according to Iran, but Israel says they believe that is being used for a nuclear weapon, and also missile production sites. Now, this has been something that Israel has focused on really since day one of this conflict, trying to lessen the ability of Iran to retaliate against their strikes, to be able to use missiles against Israel. Now, we've certainly seen the number of missiles being used. It is less. We saw Monday morning, for example, in the early hours, there were hundreds of missiles and drones that were used. There was loss of life in Israel, and yet we're seeing those numbers far smaller now of the barrages of missiles that Iran is able to target against Israel. Now, from the Israeli point of view, the military says that is because they are destroying the missile capabilities of Iran. It is too early, really, to see if that is, in fact, the case. We're still hearing from Iran that these missile strikes will continue. In fact, we have heard from Ayatollah Ali Khamenei himself, the supreme leader, saying in a statement in the early hours of today on X, quote, "The battle begins." Also saying we must give a strong response to the terrorist Zionist regime. We will show the Zionists no mercy. So certainly from the official line in Tehran, there is still a fight to be had. They are saying that they are still going to continue to target Israeli territory, and certainly we have been seeing over recent hours that there have been more air raid sirens across Israel, people heading to the shelters to protect themselves from incoming missiles. Erica? Also starting to hear a little bit more reaction. We heard some, of course, of the G7, President Macron speaking out. We heard a little bit from President Xi Jinping, but also President Erdogan of Turkey, as more nations are starting to weigh in as they're watching this play out. And how much response is there in the region to what we're seeing? The response from the region was fairly swift after this started on Friday, and there is condemnation as to what Israel is doing. In Iran, there was swift condemnation. Saudi Arabia, one of the very first to condemn what they had done. So that there's a combination of condemnation, but also of concern that this could involve more countries in the region. We've already seen that Jordan has been dragged into this. We saw that in recent hours as well. Once again, these missiles coming from Iran traveled through Jordanian airspace. So the military says that they were forced to shoot some of those missiles down, or at least try to intercept some of them, because they were concerned that they could impact people on the ground in Jordan. Jordan has said it doesn't want its airspace or its territory to be used as a battleground, but simply for its geographical location. Missiles are going through its airspace on their way to Israeli territory. So there are great concerns in the region that this could become a greater conflict, that countries will find themselves being dragged into this. That there is really across the board condemnation for what Israel has done, saying that it shouldn't be violated. Even from those countries where there is no love lost. When it comes to Iran. Saudi Arabia and the UAE, for example, are not naturally supporters of Iran, and yet when it comes to this, they have condemned Israel's actions. Paula Hancock's in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi. Pardon me, Paula. Appreciate it. Thank you. Let's take you now to Tel Aviv. Yuri Eisen is a retired colonel in the Israeli Defense Forces, as well as a senior fellow at the International Institute for Counterterrorism. Yuri, it's good to have you with us at this hour. When we look at how all of this is playing out, there is a lot of talk about what could come next, as there has been more talk in the last 24 hours or so about potential regime change. Do you see that that is an active conversation, the planning for the after?
I'm not yet sure what the after is, because at the moment we're still in it. But I will say that when we talk about that after, it's about really degrading the capabilities that the Islamic regime of Iran have not just used directly against us. I want to remind everybody, the same type of missiles they handed over to the Houthis, who have been firing them at us from October of 2023. These different drone and missile capabilities, Hezbollah held, and we degraded Hezbollah's capabilities last year. That's part of the opening to be able to go there. So I think what we're looking at is mainly at the military result, at the capability to have this air superiority over the Islamic regime of Iran, not anything against the Persian people, but against both the Iranian Revolutionary Guard and everything that they have done. When we talk about the regime change, that's not the conversation here, in the sense that for all of us, we would like to not see this regime, but we understand that that's not up to us, that's up to the people in Iran. And what I'd like to see is Khamenei, who was tweeting before, Paula was quoting the tweets that I was looking at for myself, who this morning still calls for the Zionist entity to disappear. I'd love to see that not be around, but I don't see us being the ones who change the regime.
When it comes to the military action, right, and this question, which is now hanging in the air of will President Trump decide to engage or not, what is that conversation in this moment in Israel? How are Israelis reacting to the possibility of the U.S. joining this effort with Israel?
Israel has never wanted to stand alone against the Islamic regime. We're the only ones who are constantly threatened directly by the regime, by all of the forces that we used against us. It's like the rallying point. If you do it against Israel, that's okay. That's a horrible thing. So I think right now the idea that the United States, with the United States force, won't step in, to us, that's something that is a given. I've also heard the German chancellor say things that Israel is the one that has been facing alone this Islamic regime. And I understand in that sense that they don't want to come out in their strong stance. President Trump does so in a different way. But at the end, every single one of these countries around us, the missiles that reach us can reach Berlin, can reach London. For that matter, they could reach Beijing or anywhere else in Asia, and these are things that threaten worldwide. So we would love to see the additional support, but I want to be clear, we have in Israel right now that air superiority that we created over the Islamic regime. We're targeting the military targets. We're telling people to leave in Tehran. Nobody wants to see civilian lives being killed in that sense, and as such, we're acting on our own. I'd love to see the U.S. join in.
Actually, I would love to see the U.S. join. If the U.S. decides not to join in, what does that change, if anything?
In an odd way, I don't think it changes what we're doing now. I think that what we have announced in this campaign that we started from early Friday morning is a systematic, clear capability to degrade Iranian regime, I say regime, Iranian Revolutionary Guard, with the different components of the nuclear, the missiles, the drones, all of the different components that they've also been supplying to all of their proxies. So that would go on. I do think there's an end to that as well. If we do it with American capabilities, we could shorten the process. If we do it without, it means it takes longer. And I'll remind you, we're sitting here, the siren has gone off right now, as I always say before I go on the air, if there's a siren, I go into the safe room. What the Islamic regime is firing at us, that slow trickle, which is not the huge amount, are half-ton ballistic missiles that are hitting inside the greater area all over the place. But we need our resilience. We have to be the ones who can withstand that in that sense. And that will also be part of the equation. How long can we be like this? Nobody's at work. Nobody's at school. We're a country in lockdown. And these are also challenges.
Very nice, and really appreciate your perspective. Thank you.
Thank you, Erica.
Iranian officials are urging people to stop using location-based apps, including WhatsApp and Telegram, claiming Israel is using them to identify and target individuals to assassinate. Now, WhatsApp is pushing back here, saying it does not track its users' precise location, noting that all messages are encrypted. A company spokesperson even warning that Iran may in fact be using, quote, false reports to block its services at a time when people need them the most. All of this, of course, happening as Iranian officials are also accusing Israel of launching a, quote, widespread cyber war against its digital infrastructure. Joining me now to discuss, retired Major General Mark McCarley, who's an attorney and consultant for McCarley and Rosen, and joins me from Glendale, California. It's good to have you with us at this hour. It's so interesting to me with this WhatsApp development that we saw today, because I mean, that's how most people around the world communicate. And so if you have this warning of not to use it and then the pushback from the company, what does that tell you when we're seeing these differing comments for a technology that is crucial for people around the globe, but especially in Iran, as they not only look to learn what's happening, but also to check on their loved ones?
WhatsApp is the tool of choice for so many of us as we transit around the world and communicate both at home and in business activities. But we just have to leap back for a couple of months to Lebanon. And if you recall, the Israelis staged what could best be described as one of the most interesting, if not spectacular, coups, in a sense that cell phones that were held and carried by senior members of Hezbollah suddenly exploded. A good number of Hezbollah operatives were severely injured. Some passed away. And that engendered a tremendous amount of fear. So if there is a rumor that is now circulating in Iran that, and certainly perpetrated by the Iranian government, then that engenders, once again, fear amongst those who are living there that they can't use this particular tool. And that just makes the whole events that are transpiring in Iran even more difficult for those people on the ground whose interest is just staying alive.
Yeah, absolutely. When we look at where things stand, and as President Trump, is weighing this calculation, take us inside what some of those conversations may be like, right? As the cases both for and against strikes are being laid out, what falls in each one of those columns?
Oh my gosh, you're asking me to peer into the minds of our senior leadership here in the United States.
Well, if we were doing the advising, we'll do it that way.
Yes. Right. I'll take a shot at it. From certainly the con standpoint, that Tucker Carlson and others, Marjorie Greene, Taylor Greene, have expressed real concern, if not opposition, to the president's indication that he might seriously consider taking action in Iran. His analysis, I'm speculating once again, but analysis is, yes, I tried for 60 days. The Iranians didn't believe that we would move forward. It's the 61st day, and now, of course, it's the 7th day. And so the Iranians observe what's taking place. So, and for the president himself, he raged Iran a campaign the last year and a half prior to the election. And one of the principal themes was he would find a single enemy in the United States any foreign engagements. And we've seen that has proven to be very, very difficult, whether it's in Ukraine or even now with very, very difficult situation in Iran versus Israel. Now, on the other side is there a strategic value to eliminating a regime that has over 78, 79, so 46 or so years, has waged terrorist activities around the entire country, that entire world. And we ask ourselves, and I'm sure that the president's advisors are saying the same thing, that is, would the world be better off if we absolutely eliminated Khomeini and none of those in Iran in position of leadership?
stuff up. Not another pusillanimous son of a cunt. Make it rain, building guy. Stage
And
4 south.
ever indicates that war is the absolute right thing to do. There are occasions, this might be one, where extra effort in terms of eliminating the potential for Iran to wage nuclear war might be advantageous. But I shake my head to the right and left, and my big concern, and my concern consistently across all these small wars that turn out to be big wars, is do we know what will take place after the first day? Meaning, have we established the end state? What is our objective? And it's the same question that's going to have to be faced by Israel. And definitely, if our administration decides to take action, then the question is, all right, we've struck, we've used bunker bombs, we've opened up a cavity into the Fodor nuclear production facility. Yes, we can congratulate ourselves. But is that the end? Do we ultimately have what the president is seeking, an unconditional surrender? I'm just going to leave that as an open question.
Yeah, it is a question I've heard, right? I mean, once that action begins, it doesn't automatically end with the dropping of those bombs, obviously. But there is much more that comes along with it. Major General Mark McCarley, really appreciate you joining us. Thank you. Still ahead here, President Trump considering what move, if any, to make in the Middle East as the conflict between Iran and Israel intensifies. A closer look at how the U.S. is preparing ahead of that decision.
The Diamond Casino and Resort presents a brand new car available to win today, simply with the spin of a wheel.
Not bad.
Take a break between bets? The bespoke Diamond Casino and Resort penthouses are available for purchase. And like everything else in life, you can do it online.
Like everything else in life, you can do it online. All right, y'all. I'm going to bed. But I will see y'all tomorrow, same time, same place.
A special task
Have a
force
great
to help
hump
American citizens
day.
in the Middle East. CNN reported
And I
last
will
week
see
that Iran
y'all
began organizing a task force
tomorrow.
to track developments before Israel carried out strikes on Iran's nuclear sites. The U.S. government has not evacuated any citizens
Good
from the Middle East,
night.
but the task force would coordinate such an effort if needed.
One of the highest priorities of the Trump administration is the safety and security